Time and Again by Jack Finney. This is a book off the 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die list by James Mustick. I'd never heard of it or the author before, and at first I was kind of liking the book, just the way it was written, and wondering like, okay, what's this book about? And gradually, just based on the title, Time and Again, I kind of began to think, okay, this looks like it's heading toward a book about time travel, and that's what it is. Kind of on the downside, I felt it was getting too long to get there, to get into the time travel stuff, because personally I would just like stories that focus on stuff like time travel to just get into it. Like, okay, time travel exists, here we go, we're going back in time or whatever. I don't really care about some elaborate explanation for exactly how the time travel works or whatever, because to me, like, is the point of the book supposed to be like about how the time travel works or about the actual time travel itself? You know, basically kind of what I'm getting at is if someone said like, hey, here's a time machine, I wouldn't ask like, oh, how does it work? I mean, you know, I may ask that just casually, but I'd like, you know, just explain it to me within 30 seconds or within a minute at most, you know, and then send me back. You know, I want to go check things out. I want to see Alexander the Great. I want to see Genghis Khan. I want to see, you know, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. You know, I want to see all these historical events and stuff, historical people. So I'm like, you know, come on, let's go, you know, let's go through time. You know, so I don't really like when authors just drag it out like, oh no, let me explain to you how this process works first. I know that's like a part of telling a story or whatever, but as a reader, I just want to get into it. Like, okay, it's a book about time travel. Let's go. Let's see what he's going to do through time, you know? And so even though I actually liked the opening of this book, like the first 20, 25 pages or so, it kind of was hooking me. As it really began to start to get into the time travel stuff, it was really starting to bore me because it was a lot of over description about stuff, especially once he actually started like talking about how to actually go through time. It was really weird because it was just talking about like all this psycho and analytical stuff. Like if you just think you're in the 1800s, then you will actually go there for some reason, which just seemed like a bunch of hogwash mumbo jumbo. I don't know, maybe there's some like actual theory about that, you know, could make sense, but I just didn't understand it. Like, oh, if you just think you're back in time, you actually will be. That, I just don't buy that. And that's really what the premise of the book is about. But anyway, the main things that really made me dislike the book were the over description, just talking so much about like, oh, I looked left and I saw this. I looked right and I saw that. That was really boring to me, just over description. And then the other thing is that the actual time travel in the book, the guy is going back to like, you know, like I said, I would go back and check out Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, George Washington, whatever. That's what I'd be interested in, you know, history. But this guy is like, oh, I want to go back 40 years or whatever to just like 1892 or whatever, 1870 or whatever it was. And I want to check out this building in New York City. And I want to like look at this building that actually exists. And it still exists actually to this day, this actual building. It's called like the Dakota Building in New York. A real building. This guy is like, I want to go back to that building in 1890 or whatever, and I want to look at Central Park from that building. It's like, that is what you want to do for time travel, like nothing else. And that's really all I think the book is about, is this guy just wanting to describe this building like as it was in 1890 or whatever, and just how Central Park in New York City was in that year. And he's just really obsessed with the architecture of this building and like what people were wearing in that building on that day or whatever. And I'm just like, I do not care. So that was really the fatal flaw of the book for me. So yeah, you know, from the start, the first 15 pages or so, I was kind of liking it. I was getting hooked. And then the over description and just the subject the guy chose, like, oh, I want to talk about this building in 1890 or whatever. I just wasn't interested. So if you're interested, like, in that building, if you just want to know everything about the architecture of that building and like that time period or whatever, if that time period interests you, yeah, I could see someone being interested in this book. But otherwise, for me, it was just basically a hard pass. Really, I can't say there was anything I liked about it except like the first 15, 20 pages or whatever, where I was kind of wondering like, okay, what is this book about? That was interesting to me. But as I actually began to realize what the book was really about, I was just utterly bored by it. So I can't give the book anything more than 2 stars. And really, that's just kind of like a standard rating for me. And I guess it'd get 2 stars just because of the fairly decent opening. But otherwise, this book just didn't work for me.